Welcome back to Nick Lenz's movie review, episode number 74. This I'm reviewing the fourth James Bond film, Thunderball, released in, I believe this was 1965. Yep. Starring Sean Connery. Yep. And like with the last two films, we had like with the last one we had the return of Bernard Lee as M, Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, and Desmond Llewellyn as Q. This film is a return by Terrence Young. Yep, he returns for this film, but I don't think he returns for the following film. I don't think so, no. Let me check it just to be sure. I think this is Terrence, isn't it? No, it's a different director. Now, before I talk about the film itself, I have to talk about a guy by the name of Kevin McClory. Here's what I've heard about this guy. Now, prior to this film's release, this initially was going to be the first James Bond film, from what I heard, but it was delayed to be the fourth film because of legal issues. Yes, Kevin McClory sued Ian Fleming for plagiarism, basically stealing his script for Thunderball. So they basically said to the court he did this one film and that was it. Though he would finally do a version of this in the 80s, Never Say Never Again, with Sean Connery playing the character James Bond again, an older James Bond. It was a bizarre film. If anyone's ever seen it, it is one of the most bizarre films. It's basically essentially a remake of this. Yep. Now, this one has a return of Spectre. Yep, frickin' Spectre. And by the way, because of Kevin McClory, the last time basically Spectre appeared was Diamonds Are Forever. And after that, never again until the film Spectre. They couldn't use the character Blofeld. Yeah, they even sued him. They even sued apparently he owned the rights. Apparently he sued Ian Fleming for the Ian Films for the rights for the name Spectre and Blofeld. Yeah, Blofeld does appear in this film, but he's faceless. You don't technically see his face. I did hear an HD version. You do kind of see the actor's face, but not really, no. Yes. Now, this film, I do agree with the criticism when it comes to this particular film. A lot of the time, you're basically watching the characters from playing catch up to what the audience already knows. I mean, you have a scene where these nuclear bombs are stolen, and eventually Bond is basically informed about this. Now, I did hear about some interesting thing about the music. The music itself was done by, if I can get back to this thing. The music for this film, who did the song, let's see if I can find it here. Okay, it's done by a guy named Tom Jones. Yeah. Oh, and believe it or not, I didn't know about this until recently. Johnny Cash did a version of the song for this film. Yep. Of course, this film also basically, because it involves the Sean Connery era and a frequent appearance by this particular reoccurring ally, it is Felix Leiter. Yep, Felix Leiter. Who's played by Rick Von Nutter. Yeah, and I think I agree with a lot of people. This guy has a very striking resemblance to the late Jack Lord. Yep. He's a character who doesn't do anything in this whole film at all. Nope. I mean, the first time we see Bond in the film, he's basically at a health spa. Yeah, apparently he was sent there by M to basically straighten himself up, though he decides to try to sleep with one of the nurses, which he does succeed after a very supposedly tense sequence. A Bond nearly gets stretched too much, his back stretcher, like, okay. Yeah. And then pretty much Bond pretty much forces himself on her in the shower, in the Italian, in the, I think it's called a Turkish bath, and they proceed to have sex. Basically, she becomes the first woman he beds in the movie. Yeah, but then we also have Count Lippe. Yeah, they have a lot of counts in this movie for some reason, yes. The main villain of this film is Largo, a guy with an eye patch. And he is, I do agree with the criticism related to this character, he is a terrible villain. Okay, so he is not that threatening of a person at all. I mean, the way he dies is the most stupidest way I have ever seen a villain die in a movie. You want to know how he dies? Well, he's shot by a woman named Domino, who is the main Bond girl for the film, who's basically useless, and he basically has a death grip on his boat they had the final battle on, and then pretty much they have this one-sided camera shot. Yeah, you don't see the character's face, so he gets shot in the back, and then pretty much he dies that way. Yes, by far the most lamest villain death of the entire series. Like, I do agree with that. It is terrible. Like, Domino herself, okay. Bond basically tries to woo her the whole film because he finds out that this guy, who he met at the health spa, is in fact her brother. And Largo killed him. Though he tells this to her after they had sex. In the ocean. I'm like, what? Yeah. You have just them basically sort of making out in the water, and then they go behind a rock to proceed to have sex in the water, which, yeah, I don't know how that's freaking possible. Nope. Yeah. Also with this film, Connery is very frustrated with producers about when this film came out. Yeah. This film was also, believe it or not, at the time, the highest grossing film of the series, before Moonraker. Yep. And then, like, the plot of this film is so freaking confusing. If you watch, okay, you have so many freaking characters. Like, oh my gosh, it is so dumb. Yep. One character is named Fiona Volpe. I do agree with this. I do agree with the praise for this character. She's quite interesting, and she's one of the few women that Bond sleeps in the movie. Yeah, it's probably a woman he did not want to sleep with, but hey, you got a beautiful woman. Go ahead. By the way, not the first female henchwoman he slept with. He's also with Mayday in View to a Kill, which I'll get to that soon. He's done a few movies where he's basically one of the women he slept with is in fact a henchwoman. Yeah. Also, I should point out that the movie starts before it gets the whole spot thing. You see him basically going after like this colonel, which they think is dead, but nope, it's not him. And apparently he killed a couple of Bond's friends. And then he proceeds to beat the crap out of his house. I think he kills him. Oh yeah, and believe it or not, this particular colonel is played by Sean Connery's stunt double, who, by the way, starting with this film, he actually appears in the gunbearer. I actually forgot to talk about this when I talked with Dr. No. The gunbearer sequence. It's the most common thing people tend to think of when they think of the Bond films. Though the first three Daniel Craig films had them at the end of the films, Spectre at least actually put it back at the start of the film, where it belongs. Yep. Now, Bob Simmons, that's the name of the stuntman. He was in the first three films. This film was the first one done in widescreen. Yeah, believe it or not, it was. And basically how Bond escapes the Colonel's mansion is that, okay, so apparently he has a jetpack. Yep, a freaking jetpack. Where the heck get this thing? No idea. How the heck got on top of this chateau? Never explained. It just he flies around, gets to his car, his awesome DB5, like They don't really explain how the heck got back from Goldfinger's company after the Object Enterprise has been crashed. And he proceeds to cover the villains with oil slick and then basically kind of burn them in a way. And then he sort of makes out the woman there, and that's before they get to the opening title sequence. It's a cool opening sequence, but okay. So, yeah. It's just pure fun, this one. Yeah. But then, like, it becomes, like, a really crazy movie after this one. So, apparently, Largo's plan is this. Is steal these nuclear weapons, which he succeeds, and tries to blow things up. Like, he buries one near off the coast of Miami, and the other one at the president's feet in the Oval Office. Yep. We also have this confusing scene of an underwater battle. Yes, an underwater battle. We have divers from the CIA, which I think these are people from the CIA, and Largo's men just battling each other underwater. I do agree with the criticism of this scene. It's okay. It's well choreographed. Heck, there's even a scene. There's one moment here where a shark gets hit by a harpoon. Yes, a shark. Now, as where the heck the shark came from, I have no idea. Yeah, unknown if the shark was actually like in the actual on set, because that looks like it wasn't necessarily a great white per se. It looked like a tiger shark. Yeah, it looked like a freaking tiger shark. That's what it looked like. Yeah. Let's see what else. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's also this one other character appearing in this movie. This character who turns against Largo for some reason. Les of Klutz. Yeah, he basically is a character who doesn't do anything, shows up a couple scenes, turns against Largo for some reason, throws his detonators in the ocean. And I do agree, like, Bond basically sounds like, who the heck is this guy? Like, he's just at me, like, okay, fine. Oh, yeah, and then when Domino's rumored to be Largo's mistress. I mean, Largo looks like a guy probably in his 50s, I'd say. Domino is a woman in her 20s. Yep. And she is, I do agree, she is a terrible Bond girl. Like, yeah, it's kind of good the fact she doesn't come back after this because she is that bad of a Bond girl. Yep. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's also the infamous. Now, one of the coolest scenes in the movie, I do agree with this, is that Bond is at Largo's mansion, and he falls into a pool, and then Largo opens up a door which brings in his pet sharks. Bond is able to avoid these sharks by having a nifty gadget, a gadget that allows him to breathe on the water for 5 minutes. Yeah, Q gave it to him basically to start the movie. Yeah, the Q scene in the film is not very good. It's one of the worst ones of the whole series. Yeah, where Bond basically, like, yeah, he does act like a schoolboy, and he basically is just, well, not very good with the scene. Yeah, it's this nifty little gadget. Now, this gadget was also, believe it or not, appeared in Case Close. I haven't got to yet. Basically, it goes like this. Like, it's about the size of this, and it goes to his mouth like this. And he proceeds to breathe on the water with this thing. He's able to avoid the sharks pretty easily. But it's a really cool scene. I at least gotta praise Terrence Young for that. But, yeah. This movie is just okay. It's not the best of the Bond films. But at least it's interesting. At least has also some cool sets from Ken Adam. Like the Spectre meeting room. It looks really good. I love it. These 10 chairs. You have Blofeld up here. Largo basically missing. Largo basically, now apparently, get this. There was a, now apparently one of the things that Spectre loves to do, apparently through this film, they love blackmailing people. Oh yeah, and here's the thing. They have their headquarters, believe it or not, in Paris. And here's the weird thing. Nowhere in the films, I don't think even in novels has happened, where they actually stormed Spectre's headquarters. Yeah. This never happens. They do storm one of Blofeld's lairs, but not the frickin' headquarters of Spectre. Oh yeah, and Largo basically say how evil he is. He parked in a non-parking zone. Yeah, and the French cop is basically about to basically give a ticket, and he seems like, oh, hello, sir. Okay, so apparently Spectre has bombed a few cops in frickin' Paris for some reason. And get this, MI6 never goes here at all. I'm like, okay, do they ever basically take a Spectre agent in custody and figure out where their base operations is? Nope, they never do. Not even the book this happens. And by the way, the book this is adapted from, it's their only appearance. Yes, the group Spectre. This is their only appearance in the novels. Blofeld returns after this, but not frickin' Spectre. Nope. This was the 8th novel released. Yes, the 8th. Yeah. And yes, I do agree that Chemiclory, like, my gosh, you, like, look at this guy has passed away since then. This guy was a complete buffoon. Like, he basically, even though that, yes, he basically won his argument. Do you know who basically suffers in the end from his stupid lawsuit? The frickin' fans! Yeah, the fans love Spectre, they love frickin' Blofeld, but could anything be used for these characters? No, because Kevin Flory had to basically stick his nose in. He's listed here as a frickin' producer. And by the way, he would actually later direct Never Say Never Again in the 80s. Yep. Yeah, and after this, there was roughly 3 films that came after this one. Yeah, there was a film. There was, about 3 films. Next film is You Only Live Twice, which is a much better film than this is. Yeah, I do agree. This is not a good film at all. Though, at least gotta praise this. Connery is really good in this film. The supporting characters are really good. The henchmen, I would say all of them except for one are really bad. I think there's one called Vargas. We know nothing about this guy except he has some cool shades and he gets killed by Bond, like with a harpoon gun. Yep, Bond doesn't even kill the main villain. Yeah, that's the thing. He usually is responsible for killing the main villain movie. I mean, he killed Dr. No. Technically he did kill Armor Bunt. She was not technically the main villain in the movie. It was somebody else. It was actually Red Grant. He did kill Red Grant. And Goldfinger, he killed Goldfinger. And Thunderball, it's a guy named Largo. And, well, doesn't kill him. Nope, it's Domino. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a good thing that they have a new director with next film. And this, I think, was Terrence Young's last film he did when it comes to Bond. Because he directed the first 2. I think this was his last Bond film he directed. Yeah, I believe so. Because I don't think he directed any more after this. Let me take a look at basically his legal, let's see. Yeah, this was the last Bond film he directed. I mean, last time he directed was Run for Your Life. Yeah, but this technically was the last Bond film he ever directed. I mean, the first 2 films are fantastic. Not this film. No. I mean, Connery does a fantastic job with this film. Yeah. Those of you curious, so how was this film made when it came out back in the 60s? It made $141.2 million off a $9 million budget. That's actually really damn good. Nowadays, of course, Bond films are about $150 million. Yeah, but at least they have a good reason for that. This one basically still has locales basically that Goldfinger established. Yeah, but the only place he goes is, I think, goes back to Jamaica in this one. Yeah, it's mostly just Jamaica. Actually, no, it's Bahamas. Yeah. Oh, in case you're wondering, now Largo is number 2 in the Spectre organization. Yeah, he's number 2. I don't know who replaces him. I heard in a novel he was actually number 1. Blofeld was number 2. They did that for secretive reasons. But yeah, I haven't read the Thunderball novel in a long time. I've read it, but I haven't read it in a long time. I will probably read it again sometime in the near future. But if I give this film a rating, I'm giving this film roughly a. I give it roughly a 5. No, let's give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, the first 3 films are really damn good. All 3 of them basically 10 out of 10. Really good. Not this one. I basically do not agree that oh yeah, this film was so good. I've seen this film a few times. It is not very good. It's terrible. I mean, visually the film looks great. It's just the problem with this movie is the script. It's bad. Like, oh my gosh, the script is so freaking bad for this movie. Yeah, it's not headically bad. It's just okay. Yeah. Oh, and one of their really cool scenes in the movie, aside from the Spectre meeting room, is the meeting of all these 00 agents. We don't know who these people are, except that we have Bond basically act like a person in a classroom, basically being debriefed. And M has this really funny scene. It's like, now we're all here. Of course, Bond running in late. Yep. And of course, here's the thing. Initially, he was not signed to go to Bahamas originally. Because in the film, they had him basically assigned to freaking Canada. Basically, he recommends like, okay, like he knew about the pilot who actually stole this thing, basically the imposter, because he saw him later be dead. He was like, okay, why don't you send me to Bahamas instead of freaking Canada? Yeah, in case you're wondering, does Bond ever go to Canada in any of the movies? No, he never does. He never goes to freaking Canada. I mean, he's gone to France. He's gone to Japan, China, Russia. He's gone to various different countries, not freaking Canada. He's never gone there. Yeah. So yeah, that's the end of this particular review. Tomorrow I have roughly actually 2 videos planned for tomorrow. One, of course, is a review of the next Bond film, You'll Know Twice, and of course, review of News Chapter Case Close. As for part 2 is coming out tomorrow for the season 27. Probably not. Probably not until probably Friday at this rate. Okay, but see you in the next view. Bye.